Good morning, and here we are back in the lily pad after what seems like quite a break. It's been a couple of weeks, nearly I expect, since we've been on live, so it is lovely to be here with you this morning. Um, yeah, back from my holiday, got back Saturday evening, so still feeling a little bit as if I'm trying to get myself kick-started and finding where I've put things with the last minute dash to get things finished before I went away. But here we are. My name is Helen Jennings. I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator based here in the UK, and I do try and come on twice a week and do a Facebook Live. Now, I know that Friday is going to be difficult this week. I'm not going to be here to do a live, but I will see how the week goes. Either I'll do one earlier or try and do a pre-recorded video, or maybe even come on Friday tea time. I will see how that all plays out. But I'm on grandmother duties on Friday morning, so I won't be here to do a live. But we're here this morning, so if you are watching, morning Beryl, we had a lovely holiday, thank you. If you are watching live, do come on and say hello. Alternatively, if you're watching this on catch up either on YouTube or Facebook, then do pop in and leave a comment and say hello then as well. It's lovely to see who is with us and who is crafting, not necessarily crafting along, but is along with us as we craft. Perhaps we should say that. So lots of things going on while I was on holiday. So I will show you a couple of those things which you may well have seen popping up on feeds and things. So I'll show you a couple of those things in just a minute. As I say, back from my holiday now. Next stop Christmas, as far as I know. So yeah, we're heading on, heads down now, getting into that autumn and Christmas crafting, card classes galore, and events. So do check out my Facebook for all of those. Got a class tomorrow, and another one next week. So all good fun. So let's add in my downward camera and let's come on over to that. So this is me, Love-a-Duckie, www.loveaduckie.co.uk, and that's where you'll find my blog with all of that inspiration going in there, and you'll find all my classes, links to my online shop, tutorials, all sorts of things going on over on my website. So do check that out. That is the sort of central point. Everything leads to there. So if you're looking for anything, that's a good place to start. And if you're looking for me on any other social media platform, you'll find me under Love-a-Duckie, whether that's Pinterest, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. We're there for all of them. So what were some of those things that came up last week? So Tuesday of last week, two things were launched. One was the Inspirations in Colour paper pumpkin kit, and it's going to have enough supplies in it to create 9 cards with coordinating envelopes. You get an exclusive stamp set. You get 2 classic stamping spots in this paper pumpkin kit. Most have 1 in, this one has 2, and it features colours from both the 2020 to 2022 and the 2021 to 2023 in colours collections. And you might recognise some of the feel of it from the Expressions in Ink suite. And it comes in a really pretty box. So there's a really pretty box, and there's a bit of a hint of it. I have seen some cards and things made with it. It really, really is quite pretty. So that, morning Lisa, that is available now. So you can pop into my online shop or get in touch with me, and you can order your paper pumpkin kit. And while we're talking of kits, another kit that is now available in the shop is this really cute little kit just here to make your Christmas cards. Let's see if we can get that to focus. So you make, I think it's 4 of each. Yeah, you've got enough to make 4 of each. of these really cute little cards with the elves on. You can see there you get a stamping spot. You get this stamp set just here. So that's the images on the stamp set. You get a block, you get your adhesives, you get envelopes, you get all the little pop-out bits and the printed cardstock. Everything you need in a box to create 8 really cute little Christmas cards. So if you're new, this is all new to you and you're thinking, what the heck, I would like to have a little bit of a go, but I have nothing and no idea where to start. Here's a really, really good place to start. Either of these kits, actually, a really, really good place to start because you get everything you need in there. You don't get a block in the paper pumpkins, but we can soon find you a block and help you sort out a block if you need one. But with these little kits, you do get a block. So perhaps have both. And then you'll have an everyday card kit, a Christmas card kit, a block, a couple of stamp sets that you're going to be able to create other things with. Yeah, the world will be your oyster. You'll be ready to get kick-started. So a great place to start our kits, but also a great resource for taking on holiday with you, for if you're sitting in waiting rooms, if you want something to get together with a whole group of friends and just have a bit of a play with something. The kits are absolutely the way to go. I certainly took some kits on holiday with me. I love taking kits away. It's sort of like as if somebody has designed a class for me in a box and I just get to take it away and play with it. But what are we going to play with today? Now, while I was away, typically an order was delivered, so I haven't had a chance to play with any of this stuff yet. One of the things that was in my order was the Harvest Meadow Suite. I feel as if I'm a bit late to the party with this one, as if everybody's already got it and I haven't. Bit of FOMO. FOMO going on there, but it is a beautiful, beautiful suite and is just right. You know, I've come back from my summer holiday now. We really are starting to think about autumn and autumny things now, and this suite is just perfect for that. So a bit of an oversight of the kit there. You get stamps, you get dies, you get an embossing folder, you get some really lovely ribbon and embellishments, some cork paper. We'll look at that in a minute, and a really lovely pack of 12 by 12 designer series papers as well. So lots going on in this suite. So, and without any further ado, let's put our little book to one side. Let's have a quick look at these samples so you can see that there's dies. Here's your cork paper, stamps. Seeing some really beautiful things done with that stamp. And you can see the papers being highlighted there. And this one has got a bit of the embossed background and some embossing, as in embossing folder, and heat embossing as well in the background there. And yeah, really pretty. This one, the ribbon that we'll have a look at in a minute, has been coloured. So it comes in sort of creamy, naturally colour. That's been turned calypso coral. So yeah, don't ever feel that you have to stick with the ribbon as it is. Feel free to play. So let's have a look at this suite before we get stuck in. Bring it out in front of me. Now this is the colour palette in these papers. So you know, it's really quite bright, but you've got that real autumny feel about it. So we have got, let me move my mouse from under there so that I don't accidentally press it. We've got calypso coral, we've got some bumblebee, we've got some soft succulent, we've got some misty moonlight, and we've got some crumb cake. I've just grabbed out some coloured cardstock there to go with those papers. So that's your colour palette in the papers. And let's put that to one side because we might want that in a minute. Here are our papers. So you can see that you've got, that's we are up the right way around. You can see that you've got sort of like the wheat and things in the background, as well as all the flowers in that misty moonlight, that gorgeous olive misty moonlight and white with that blue and white thing going on. You've got some bumblebee there, the pattern. This is a really pretty paper. It's a really nice background. You've got sort of like a motley effect in the background, and then this pattern going down. It's a really nice neutral background. And you've got this sort of calypso coral with the foliage on it, and then if you look in the background, you have got the font, the words going through in the background, as you have with this one. You've got all that script in the background on that soft succulent sort of almost grungy type look paper, isn't it? It's very distressed. I hope it's not too distressed. Again, you've got some more flowers and foliage and things in the background there. This is a really nice sort of autumn harvest feel to that one, isn't it? Really pretty paper there with that bumblebee and that calypso coral, little touch of spot of misty moonlight, another misty moonlight and white paper there, more calypso coral, another crumb cake with the foliage on. Look at this pretty paper. Lovely. Really nice pattern in that one with that soft succulent background. So some really nice papers. Pop those safely to one side so we can dig into them. And then we have this cork paper, which does really, it is sort of has a corky texture to it. Yeah, you want feely vision to really feel the benefit of this paper. You just got the pattern on the one side. It is like a very thin slither of cork. It's really beautiful, and I've seen, you know, and it is lovely just for, you probably don't want very much, just a bit of a flash of it. But yeah, unless of course you're doing things like covering notebooks, which would be quite fun, wouldn't it, with that? And we have here the, where are we, the stamp set. It's got a nice thank you on there. We do need to do a thank you card today. Sending healing thoughts. A reminder to never forget how much you mean to me and so many others. And a good luck. That's a useful one to have. So good luck in your new job, in your new home. Yeah, whatever it is. Good luck in your adventure. This really pretty flowers that I've seen all over. You've got this other little flower here, and then you've got this background sort of blobby piece that I've seen used to good effect in lots of different samples. So that's the stamp set. We then got the dies, as you can see, not yet unwrapped. We are looking at these together. So I did bring out some my magnetic sheet. So you've got this really long, good substantial sized die with wheat sheets on, and then you've got these flowers, and then this beautiful flower just here. I've seen lots of people cutting out in sort of shimmery white or watercolor cardstock and colouring in colour to these dies. Really beautiful, so you haven't got to just use them as they are in a solid colour. Let's bring out another magnetic sheet and have a look at the other one. So this is just sort of twiggy sort of effect, isn't it? And that one will die cut one of the flowers in your stamp set, and this one will die cut the other, easing those off of the sellotape. If you do have problems getting dies off of the tape, then just take your heat gun and slightly heat the reverse, just warm the adhesive up a bit, and they will pop off. And then those two little label dies. So a great set of dies there. Let's stick that one on there. And we have those all ready to go. So we've got our stamp set and our dies. We have an embossing folder. And this is the Time Worn Type 3D embossing folder. I'm not going to see that very well on there. But you have got sort of all this script and sort of grunginess, as if the the typewritten paper has been through the wars a bit, knocked about a bit. So that's some good fun. I'll perhaps have a look at that in a minute. Some brushed metallic adhesive backed dots. You'll see that I've pinched a few of those. They went into the chopped challenge this month, but really lovely colours. Really nice sort of metallic-y colours. We have this ribbon that we saw coloured just now, but really good weight. Lovely to say, if you are creating things like journals or notebooks or any of those sort of 3D things, and you want a sort of vintagey type ribbon, it's really lovely, that ribbon. They call it the diamond weave ribbon for obvious reasons. You've got a diamond running through the centre of the weave on that. I have grabbed another stamp set here. This also came in my order. This is actually the stamp set that you can earn as part of celebration if you have a qualifying order. If you host an event and you get a qualifying order, you can have the In Your Words stamp set. So I thought I would pick that out because we might use that. Hope this card makes you smile. Hope your day is fantabulistic, fabulous and fantastic all in one. There's happy birthday. Love is full of ups and downs. Hold on tight. Be who you were born to be. So sending this card for no particular reason. I see you and you are wonderful. So yeah, some really nice little sentiments in there. So I've grabbed that as well in case we want to have a play with that. So goodness me, deep breath. There are lots of things there for us to play with. I'm going to go back to these papers. I'm going back to this paper just here. And my trimmer. That's to hand. That's good. It's not been lost under a pile of bits and pieces. Let's cut this to 9.5 by 13.9. Right, as you can see, not yet popped my stamps out yet either. I'll take this big flower. Let's take the backing off of here. So if you've not had any of our stamps before, if you want to put, you don't have to put the cling on the back, but if you want to put the cling on the back with the image on it, just need to, never easy to do when I've got my camera overhead, but let's do that. Stick that on that sticky bit, pull it off, and there we are. We have our cling stamp ready to go. I do want a thank you stamp today. Thank you card. So let's take this thank you. I might come in with this orangey background. We'll have a see. I'll perhaps come back to those in a minute. I'm actually going to take this paper down a little bit further. So it was 9.5 by 13.9. I'm going to take it down to 8.5 by 12.9, just because I'm going to have, we'll use our embossing folder in the background. Let's bring in this nice big flower. Morning, morning. Sorry if I'm wobbling you. My table seems to have come adrift in the middle. There we go. Okay, so I think we're going to come in with some Memento. I'm just deciding how I'm going to colour it. So in my head, I'm going, right, how are we going to colour it? What ink do we need? If you've been stamping and things for a little while, you know that depending on what colouring mediums you're using, you may need to use a different ink. So I think I'm going to come in with my stamping blends. So I have used my Memento ink. In card making and colouring, you always want to make sure that you combine your alcohol with water. So if we are using alcohol markers, so I'm going to grab my soft succulent and a bumblebee, so I think it's going to have to be Calypso Coral. Just bringing a bit of dark saffron in there as well. So although we haven't got a bumblebee, we will bring in a bit of yellow. Possibly some cinnamon cider. Let's see. Okay. Sorry, my floorboards are very squeaky this morning. Let's come in with some soft succulent. So we've actually stamped direct onto our paper, onto our designer series paper. I'm just sort of going in with the dark soft succulent where that shading is, coming around the outside of those leaves slightly. Then let's bring in a light soft succulent. And we'll fill in the gaps. I do the darker first. I know that people, yeah, it's one of those questions, which do you do first, the lighter or the darker? And the answer is yes. I think for some people they prefer to go over and do all the lighter, then go in and do the darker pieces and then go back over with the lighter. I tend to do the darker first and then come all over the top with the lighter and blend it out. That's not to say that I wouldn't then go back in if I felt I needed to. But yeah, one of those I don't think either of those things are wrong. They are just, yeah, what you believe is the best way for you, I think. So I'm going to come in with some dark So Saffron on this top, and then possibly on this bottom bit just here. I'm going to come in that's just the light cinnamon cider. I'm going to come back in, I think, the So Saffron. Looks as if cinnamon cider on its own would possibly be a bit too dark, so just added in that So Saffron in there. And then let's come in. My Calypso Coral pens have obviously faded. The colours on the lid have faded in the sun. One of the downsides of being in the conservatory, really. I'm going to do one flower at a time. You don't want to do too big an area and then have your ink dry out before you get a chance to go in and blend it. Let's come in on this one. I'm going to come around the outside a little bit. I think with the blends, you can't make the blends blend. One of the things is don't try and do too big a piece. Try perhaps doing smaller pieces and then go back in. And you really do have, it is sort of the idea of you need to have a good saturation of your colour down. So you need there to be, you know, when you turn over, you need it, this has come all the way through. You need there to be quite a good saturation of the alcohol, because it's the alcohol, the pigment in the alcohol sort of swimming around together, if you like, that's going to cause it to blend. So yeah, don't be frightened of sort of going over it and adding in quite a lot of colour, which is why I'm going over the top, but I'm in a circular motion and sort of really working it. And obviously you'd have more time to do these things than I necessarily have there. I'm going to take a pair of scissors, and I definitely don't want my ribbon scissors. I had another pair of scissors on here somewhere. I'm going to open up my scissors and I'm going to distress the edges of this paper. Oh, that's very distressed, but that's okay. Don't let a little thing like that worry us. That I may even make a feature of it. So yeah, not something you want to do with your best ribbon scissors because it will potentially blunt them. One of the reasons why it's, when you start doing things like this, why it's worth having a pair of scissors that you absolutely put to one side for your ribbons. You could possibly use a sanding block or something as well. A nice lot of little bits of fluff on there. I'm going to grab the rum cake ink. And just scattered blending brushes all over the floor. And I've got some crumb cake ink on my blending brush, and just going around the edge where we have distressed that a bit. One of the other things you could try if you struggle with your blends is if you've got the colour lifter, the white blend, you could try laying some of that down before you start adding in any of your other colours, just to see if that would give you a bit more, add a bit more alcohol to your project, a bit more of the solvent. I actually physically curl these. Let's do the same down here. Let's just give that a bit of a bit of distressing on those corners. Right, I'm going to bring in some Calypso coral, I think. Give it a pop of colour with the Calypso coral. So I'm going to cut myself a piece of Calypso coral. That is 14.4 by 10. And let's bring in this embossing folder. Now it is a 3D embossing folder, so we are going to need to change out some of our plates and things. So I'm going to lay that in there. I shall want my base plate number 1. And my embossing plate number 4. And I don't know how well that is going to show up, but you've got sort of your grungy bits and your bits of writing, your typewritten pieces. I'll just come over the top of that with a bit more crumb cake. Just helps those words to pop a little bit. If you wanted this to be a lot darker, something like soft suede would help that to pop even more. Let's just score this in half to make our card face. Now, wanted the, let's come in with this blobby stamp. Just add in a bit of that in the background, liking that. We'll have this coming in, and then we want the thank you stamp for our greeting. Going to get a little bit of crumb cake for that. Come back to our memento. Just going to tear the end on that too. Okay, let's do some sticking. Hi, Glenda. So I'm going to take my, you can see the flower on the back. Look, that'd be an interesting look, wouldn't it? The reverse. Put this on a bit of an angle. Do like a bit of a wonky angle to bring some of this round. Just stick it on the back. I have got my ribbon scissors out this time. And oh, let me just find my tape. pinch the tape from this end to take on holiday with me. Obviously has not quite made its way back yet. You have to have your emergency adhesive supplies with you at all times. Never know when you're going to need them. Okay, let's bring in some dimensionals. Now, I was going to say at the beginning, apologies if we get a ring on the doorbell. We've got a delivery due today. And it was any time between about 9 and 1 or something. But I'm hoping it's going to boost the internet. So that will be exciting. Bring in that thank you. I think I'm just going to stick that flat. We've already added some dimension if we want to pop this in the post. Don't want too many layers. Let's just bring in these brushed metallic adhesive dots. And somewhere you've got to take your pick tool. I think I'm going to go with these little sort of coppery colour ones. Let's have one big one. Now that needs a bit of an inner in it, but I think I'm going to go with Very Vanilla for inside. Serious rustling going on in the background. Looking a bit battered. Let's trim that down a little bit. We'll make it 9.5 by 13.9. And we'll take that stamp and some coral, I think. And we'll just add some calypso coral flowers to the bottom of there. So if, like me, you're late to the party and don't yet have this Harvest Meadow sweet, or you're new to Stampin' Up, never seen it before, or live here in the UK, I would love you to help you get your hands on it too. So do get in touch with me. So there's one that's just using that stamp and colouring it with some stamping blends, grunging up the outside a little bit to make a cute little thank you card. But I think we also need to have a bit of a play with some of these dies. And we haven't had a play with any cork paper either. I do love this die. This is rather a fun flower. those two. I've got some stitched rectangles here. I'm thinking I might make a cork frame. Let's come down to those two, I think. Our cork frame. We've got these for the background. I think we might just about get that out of there. I'm hoping to perhaps be able to get a couple of those. So that's some soft succulent cards just there. We need to swap our plates again to die cut. Didn't actually mean to throw all of the things on the floor that I've just thrown on the floor, but we'll pick them up in a minute if we need them. So I'm just running this through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss. Look at that. Isn't that a gorgeous die? Just spin it round. And do a second one. I'm going to run one through in crumb cake. I don't know whether I shall want it or not, but we will possibly. We'll have it as a potential. It's just such a lovely, delicate die cut. Quite like that with a bit of crumb cake thrown in. Let's find a piece of our cork paper. And we should need to cut that to about 9.5 by 13, I think. You can feel the bum 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 as that blade goes down that paper. With the physical bumps in the texture. Let's cut ourselves, oh, excuse me. I've done that with the two stitched rectangles. I'm going to have a very narrow outer frame just there. Very gently ease that off. Be able to use that for a different project. Running my fingernail on the inside of that die, and then we should be able to ease this frame off. You don't really want to rush this. Take your time. So there's our frame that we're going to be using. There's a narrow one that we could use another time, and then we also have this inner panel that obviously is now beautifully stitched that we'll be able to use for something else. So now we'll take this flower die and I'm just going to put this very vanilla card there. Hi Jane. Oh yes, do play catch up. Do let us know what you think. So there we've got this die cut flower, and what might not pick up very easily on the camera is the embossed pieces. So where these lines are just here, it's sort of gently embossed. I think I'm going to grab my pastels for this one. Now I will use the Mossy Meadow one. Just going to add in some colour on that stem, and now you can see the embossed detail coming out. Adding a bit more. Let's go Mango Melody. That will sort of add in a bit of Mango Melody on the top there, and then I'm going to come in with the Poppy Parade one as well on the top here. Add in a bit of that as well. A bit more of the Poppy Parade on the top. Yeah, that blends in with the Mango Melody, make a nice sort of orangey hue. It's rather fun. What are we missing? Mossy Meadow. I really am throwing everything on the floor down here. So yeah, so now we've added some colour to that. You can really see the embossed dots at the top and the embossed lines down here on the main part of the flower, and the embossing detail on the leaf. Really beautiful. So now to decide what we're going to have as our backdrop. I'm not having this as all of the flower. Those colours do work quite well with that. So I have a piece of that. Oh, apologies. Just smacked my phone with my trimmer. Right, so I'm going to cut a piece of this that is 10 by 14.4 or whatever your first size mat is. And I think I'm going to come in with, if I got a big enough piece of very vanilla in there. Bring in a piece of very vanilla that is 13.9 by 9.5. Yeah. Let's bring it down a little bit. Let's go 13.4 by 9. Just because we want a bit more of that paper showing in the background. I think again we'll run that through that embossing folder because it needs a bit of texture in it. So run that through the machine. Ooh, take that layer out as well. We just want number 1 and number 4. Can we move in a bit of soft suede actually? Go slightly darker. This blending brush again. And add in a bit of colour in the background. Just going in around the edges, not gone all the way to the centre. I need that as a slightly sort of highlighted section. And we've got our die cuts and our flower to come on the top there. And what colour card base to have? We want to go pink. Okay, so coral, do we want? I think I quite like staying with the greens. I quite like that sort of tone. Oh, that looks quite a wide piece. That one might be better. We'll have a look in a minute. We'll cut our card base. I'm going to use that one just because that one looks as if it's been trimmed a little short. So let's come with this one. Quite like that. And then I think for our greeting for this one, decisions. That was a reminder never to forget. That's that one here. We'll come on to Very Vanilla again. And we'll come back with our soft suede. That works quite well, nicely with that cork paper. Oh, upside down, but that's okay. Ice, Sue, thank you. A reminder to never forget how much you mean to me and so many others. It's rather lovely, isn't it? That stitched rectangle would work quite nicely for that. Bring our soft suede around the edge of that as well. A little bit darker at the top there, I think. Right, let's stick this baby together. The area which I am working in is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. It's a beautiful suite, so mine literally arrived while I was on holiday last week. So this is its first outing out of the packet for me, literally. But it is beautiful. Now you can read some of the words on this embossed piece, so we want to make sure that we put that on the right way round. Now I'm going to put some mini dimensionals on here. I'm going to put one on the bottom, but I'm not going to take the backing off of it. I might do in a minute, we'll see, but for now I'm not, because I'm going to want to stick my stalks out of the bottom, so it will be easier if it's not stuck down. As I say, we can always just lift it and take the stalks out and take the backing off in a minute. It's quite flimsy, this cork paper. To lift that slightly, it's not quite on the angle I want it. That's better. Right, so let's come in with this stalk first. So this is the crumb cake one. I'm going to slip that under there, but having it coming over the top at the top. Let's take our first soft circular one. And again, let's tuck it under there, and let's have it coming over here. Ooh, fingers are sticky. Of course, this is a good companion set to the going to go completely and utterly blank now. Quiet Meadow one that is in the annual catalogue. And the little flower that we've coloured with our pastels. Let's have the big dimensionals there. And a couple of smaller dimensionals down there. That's the lovely thing about having them both. And then of course you can cut into the edge pieces and create the size you want. We'll have that coming up that centre. If I take the backing then off of that central mini dimensional there and stick that base down. And then we have our greeting. Where shall we have that coming? In there, I think. I've got a couple of dimensionals at that end. And then a glue dot when I can find the end one. It's just there. A glue dot and stick you on that end just there. Let's come back to our Take a picture was one of the things that went flying onto the floor. Let's have a few of those. Okay, so we've had a bit of a play with embossing folders, a bit of a play with dies, a bit of a play with stamps, papers, cork. Quiet Meadow, yes, Sue, thank you. So we've got a bit of everything going on there. Let's just cut a bit that will pop inside. Not quite sure what we could have. Just need a bit of something. Let's take soft suede and we'll just add in just a little bit of something on the inside. There we go. So 2 cards using that gorgeous Harvest Meadow suite, featuring stamps, dies, ribbon, embellishments, embossing folder, cork, beautiful designer series paper. So it is a lovely suite. One well worth getting your hands on. Great for, you can use it for men's cards as well as cards for the ladies. There's those thank yous. They're that really useful good luck stamp. Good luck is such a good sentiment for so many occasions, and you can just use your dies, you can stamp, you can combine the two. It's gorgeous. And as I say, if you're here in the UK and would like some assistance to get your hands on that suite, then do get in touch. I would be more than happy to help you so that you too can have a morning playing with some gorgeous things. So thank you for coming and spending a bit of your morning, evening, wherever you are in the world, with me, playing with beautiful things. And as I say, I will try and get back later in the week, but it won't be our usual Friday at 9 slot because I'm on nanny duty, I'm on babysitting duty. But we will sort something out. I will be back and see you very soon. Take care, everybody. Have fun crafting in your craft room, and it's time now to go and get on with my to-do list.